Time for another board game review, and this time we have the game Stampede. This was sent to me by WizKids and is designed by Jero and Geenan. Stamp collecting, the most dangerous game. Collectors are polite on the surface, but truly cunning strategists underneath. In Stampede, you must fill your album with new stamps, exchange stamps with other players, and strike at just the right moment to complete your collection. Your goal is to collect 5 of the same animal or 9 distinct animals. Stamp out the competition. Let me show you how to play. Alright, so in Stampede, each player starts with 2 cards in their stamp collection already. In this case, I have the lion and the elephant. You also have 3 cards in your hand. Then, this stamp exchange area, there are going to be 3 face-up cards here. Now, this is a turn-based game. Step 1, you take the top card from the draw pile and put it in your hand. Then, you play a card from your hand and add it to your album, and you execute the action that corresponds to it. So all the animals do a different action. For example, if I put down the crocodile in my stamp album, that means I get to exchange my hand with another player's hand of cards. So let's say, I grab their cards. Whenever you do an action at the end of your turn, you'll always have exactly 3 cards in your hand. So remember, to win the game, you got to have a set of 5 of the same animal, or all 9 animals, at least 1 of each. So yeah, that's pretty much the game, but that's obviously the meat of it, is the animal actions. Let's go through each one. If I play an elephant card, I can exchange 1 card from my hand with 1 card from my own album. So I could be like, okay, I'm going to put down this parrot and put this crocodile back in my hand. If I put down a hippo, I can exchange 1 card from my hand with 1 card from the album of one of the other players. So let's say I look over and I go, I want this person's buffalo. So I'm going to take the buffalo into my hand, and I'll give them this crocodile. If you play a lion card, that lets you exchange 1 card from your album with 1 card from another player's album. So I can be like, okay, here, you can have this elephant. Over here, I'm going to take this crocodile. If you play the giraffe card, that can do the order you prefer. You can take the top card from the draw pile and add it to your album. Ooh, it looks like we got a baboon. I'll play it in my album over there. Then take any other card from your album and return it face down to the draw pile, and you can choose where you put it. So I might be like, okay, I'm going to put this lion, I'm going to put him at the middle of the deck. And that can be my turn. If you play the rhino card, you can take the top 3 cards from the draw pile to form your new hand. Then you take your former hand cards and return them face down to the draw pile, anywhere you want. So I could say, I'm going to put 1 on the bottom, I'm going to put 1 in the middle, doesn't really matter, on the bottom again. And they return to the draw pile. Playing a baboon card, it lets you exchange a card from your hand with 1 from the stamp exchange area. That's sort of like a general area everyone can exchange from. So I could be like, okay, I'm going to take this rhino, and I'm going to put this buffalo here. But let's say I played a buffalo card. I could exchange 3 cards from my album with the 3 cards in the stamp exchange area. So I could be like, okay, looking here, I'm going to put these 3 here and put these 3 in my album, like that. Finally, the parrot doesn't do anything when you play it, but if you ever have 4 parrots, you instantly win the game. So that's another thing to watch out for. Otherwise, that's all the actions for all the animals, and the game also comes with a reference card for every player, so you don't have to just memorize all that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You play cards, do the actions, and try to get either 5 of one animal or all 9. And that's the game. So this was fun. Ultimately, I appreciated how easy it is to play. You know, draw a card, play a card, do the action. It's a very simple structure. But I also really like how mean the game is. Meanness for me is always a plus. It's all about trying to strategize not only what your best action is with your cards, but how you can speed your way towards victory, having 2 different ways to win, and the parrots on top of that is a fun way to always keep you on your toes as you're watching other players and being like, oh, I gotta make sure they don't, get that 4th parrot or whatever. I think the iconography on the cards is fine, but there were still some cards that were a little similar looking. Not the art, but the actual symbols on them. That it was kind of tricky to remember everything 100% easily. The theming is also kind of whatever. I mean, it's fun for some puns in the instructions, but I never really thought of them as like stamps. Just kind of like set collecting, but that's fine. Overall, though, it's just a fun, sneaky game that's all about messing with people's albums, stealing cards, rearranging things. Really simple to pick up, and like I said, just a lot of tricky things to fuck with your friends' cards, and all in all, pretty good considering. Yeah, I enjoyed this.